Hey there, today I'll be showing you how to draw Reaper from Overwatch. So there's going to be a few overlapping parts to this drawing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to start with a bit of the face and then draw the overlapping arms on top. So let's start with the top edge of the hood. Starting from the left, I'm going to draw a curve over to the right, but along the way I'm going to draw a little notch just to show a little break in the hood. Like that. Let's thicken this up just a little bit. From here, I'm going to draw the front edge brow of the face. So now the head's sort of tilted down, so you can see the eyes sort of pierced this way. So from the side here on the end, I'm going to curve down towards the center point above the nose bridge. Like so. And I'm going to curve up towards the right. From here, I'm going to draw in the eyes. So on the side here, just on the left, I'm going to step in a little bit and draw a straight line coming down. On the right, I'm going to step in and draw a little straight line coming down. I'm going to curve these underneath that brow area. So from this tip, I'll just curve in underneath, and I'm going to color this all in black. Let's do the same thing on the right side. So curving up, coloring this all in black. Just going to extend this line just a little bit. From here, let's draw in some detail on the forehead. So it looks like there's these two little rivets up on the top forehead. So on the left, I'll just draw a half circle, and on the right, I'll draw a circle just tucked in underneath that notch. From here, from the bottom of the circle, I'm just going to curve down to the brow area. On the right, I'll do the same thing. Now from here, I'm going to move down towards the nose. So on either side of the inner part of the eye, I'm going to draw two short straight lines coming down here. Now these two are going to converge down to the tip of the nose. So from here, I'm going to curve towards the center. I'm going to curve up on the right side. Now there's a sort of hollow area inside the nostril. So what I'm going to do is that from the corner here, I'm going to step down just a little bit and curve down even lower. I'm going to step that up on the right side. And I'm going to color this area all in black. From here, let's go ahead and draw in the sides of the temples. So going back up to the top of the head, I'm just going to draw a curve going out on the left and on the right. I'm going to have to finish this off a little bit later after I've drawn in the hands and the guns. So from here, I'm going to step in. I'm going to draw a curve going down the cheeks, down to about the same level as that nose piece there. So from here, I'm going to curve down. And on the right, start right about here, curve down. Try to make it as balanced as I can. From here, I'm going to take these 2 points and curve down to a center point. Now this curve is going this way on the left side. It's almost opposite of the cheeks. Curving up on the right. Now from here, let's draw some lines for the upper cheekbones. From here, I'm just going to draw a curve going up towards the center of that nose area, like so. From here, let's draw in the jaw. From this point, I'm going to draw an angled line coming down, and then I'm going to turn and just kind of blend that in with the side of the jaw here. Inside here, I'm going to draw sort of like a curve and color that in black. Now, there's a lot of detail in the face. I'm not going to get into too much detail because I'm using a Sharpie. So from this tip of the jaw, or the cheek, I'm going to come down at an angle, and then just combine that with the cheek, drawing that little curve on the side, just filling that in black. Okay, from here, now I'm going to have to move in towards the hands, because this arm is going to be crossed this way, this one's going to be behind like this, and the guns are going to sort of overlap the head. So before I do any of the hood work, I'm going to have to draw in the hands. So from here, I'm going to have the shoulders coming out this way, coming down to the elbows, and then crossed hands here. So in the center point here, I'm going to draw the hand that's on front. So starting with the wrist, right about here. I'm going to curve that inner wrist area here. Let's draw that little plate on the back of the hand. So from here, I'm going to go up in an angle. Now, I'm always going to be working up in this direction this way. Okay, it's almost like a 45-degree angle. From the bottom, I'm going to curve, or draw a straight line up. Connect those 2 points with a curve. So this is the guard that goes behind the hand here. Now, for a very simple hand, I'm going to draw the hand like a little trigger finger like this. So starting with the index finger, I'm going to draw a curve going around like that. Now I'm going to have to draw in the knuckles. So you see this trigger finger, we're going to go down lower to show a few of the little knuckles behind. So I'm going to draw a curve like this. And then I'm just going to combine the last two fingers here, just because it gets a little bit too detailed if I do too many bumps there. From here I'm going to curve this down towards the wrist area. So just like that. So now this is the meat part of the hand. Very simple hand. Let's go ahead and draw in parts of the gun. So I'm going to draw in the trigger area for the gun. So again, the gun's going in this angle, starting up above this trigger finger, and go out, and go down at an angle, so going across, and curve this in underneath that trigger finger like that. Now with this finger, I want to show a little bit of that sort of that finger clip, that shiny finger clip that goes on here. So going back up here, I'm going to curve the finger around so it looks like the finger's sort of hooked around like this. Inside here, I just want to draw a little bit of detail. So on the top edge and on the side, I'm just going to trace this out like that. Okay. Now from here, let's go ahead and draw in the forearm, because the forearm, it doesn't get overlapped by anything. So we can go ahead and draw that little wrist brace. So from this corner of that wrist, I'm going to angle out. Same thing with the bottom. We connect those 2 points with a curve. Goes around like this. Now here, I want to make sure that I'm still lining up my arm this way. Take this point, angle in the opposite direction, and then connect those 2 points with a curve. Now this arm, this forearm, has a lot of plating. There's like 2 or 3 different plates that go across this arm and a couple spikes inside of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this arm sort of curved, kind of like this towards the elbow. I want to make sure that it's lined up with the shoulder. So from here, I'm going to curve down, up, and then down towards the elbow. Okay, so this is the wrist area, going out to the sort of outer part of the forearm. Now I want to come back in towards that point of the wrist here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a little bit of overlapping. So from here, come down at an angle. Okay, so I'm going across at an angle. From here, I want to curve right in to that wrist point. Right like that. Now back here, I'm going to do a little overlap. So it looks like there's a little bit of metal plating back here. So stepping in a little bit, and curve around like that. Now from this point, I want to draw in the spikes that are going to overlap any of the detail inside this area. So I'm going to draw the first one here. So I'm going to draw from the left, I'm going to draw a curve that hooks around. So this is the starting point of the claw, or the horn, curving around and then back up to that tip. So it's almost like a raindrop shape. I'm going to do another one right beside it here. From this point, I'm going to curve in behind that horn. And I'm going to curve down and around like that. So it looks like there's 2, this one on top, this one right behind. And then here I'm just going to split this forearm so it shows a little bit of plating as we go back. From here, curve around in towards where that thorn there meets that one here. From that base, I'm going to curve around, just wrap this around the forearm like that. Okay, so we got the arm, and I'm going to come back to the back arm here after I've done the gun on this side. So for a little bit more detail on this gun, I'm going to draw the angle to get me started on which direction the gun is going to be going. So from this point, I want to draw a straight line going up in an angle like that. So from here, and draw a nice straight line going across. Now that's a pretty good length for the gun. So from this point, I want to draw the bottom part of the gun. So there's the face part and then there's the bottom. So I'm going to have the gun angled slightly like this. So I'm going to draw the bottom first. Coming down at an angle. I'm going to go across to right about here. Just like that. Let's close this gap off like that. Now from here I'm going to draw a little bit of detail. So from this point I'm going to come up in an angle to that line. From this point, coming down, I'm going to come across with a curve. I'm going to curve the bottom of this handle. And then from here I'm going to go up in an angle and just tuck this in behind the hand. Now I want to draw the bottom, the butt end of the gun sticking out behind the hand here. So I'm going to draw it at an angle like this way. So back here, I'm going to draw a curve. I'm going to draw a flattened bottom in an angle. And then I'm going to taper out. So it's going to get a little bit wider as it gets towards the hand. I'm going to draw this twice. So I'm going to do an overlap. So stepping over, and draw another curve like that. And here I'm just going to draw a little rivet with a little circle. Now let's go to the top of the gun. Now I'm going to draw some detail up here. Now I'm going to keep this very simple. I'm not going to put a lot of detail in this gun, but I encourage you to go in and draw as much detail as you like. So from here I'm going to draw the back end of the gun. I'm going to go across here. Going across, I'm going to go up in an angle, and then I'm going to round this out. This is where I'm going to put a rivet, right in here. Just like that. Now from here I'm going to come straight down towards the gun. So this line here. This is it's almost like the spine of my gun. I'm going to be following this line all the time. Up here I'm going to go across, draw a little bit of detail, going down and back down like this. Let's draw a little rivet in here as well. And then along this side, it looks like there's these 3 little vents that go across like that. Let's finish this off with the top part of the gun. So here on the back I'm going to draw a curve and go across. And then I'm going to dip this down. I'm going to curve down, across, and come down right about there. Okay? And I'm just sort of like making up things as I go. I'm not, you know, too stuck on trying to make this exactly like the gun that he carries. So from here I'm going to curve up. I'm just simplifying this gun. It's almost like a caricature of his gun. Coming across like this. And here there's a little flourish. So I'm going to draw a circle. From the bottom I'm going to curve up and go back to the starting point and curve up again. There's a little swirl that he has on the top of his gun. From here I'm going to start from this point, go straight across, line it up with this bottom line here. So going across, right about there. I want to make sure that I can draw a straight line to connect those 2 points. So from here I'm going to go across, but I'm going to stop about halfway so I can draw that little notch. It comes across, down, and back, and I'm going to connect that point to there. And it looks to be like a little detail line like that. Now that's a very simple gun. There's not a lot of detail to it, but I encourage you to go in and draw some more detail after I've done this lesson. So let's go back and draw in this hand. So I'm going to draw the hand first, and then draw the gun and go back to the arm afterwards. So with this hand, I'm going to flip this over and almost do a mirror of it on this side. So starting up at the top here, right about here, I'm going to draw a curve for the trigger finger. And I'm going to draw a couple bumps for the following fingers behind it. Now I'm going to have to sort of figure out how to mirror this over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the line on top of the trigger finger first, going up in an angle. So I'm going to draw this gun in this angle like that. From here, I'm going to draw an angle, just like I did over here, and I'm going to pull this back in with a curve underneath the trigger finger. Let's go ahead and draw that finger clip, and then trace out the top and the side of the trigger. Now, from here, I want to go back to that point and draw the length of the gun, just like I did here, that spine that goes up here. So drawing the gun in this angle, I'm going to start from the tip of the gun and pull this line towards that point there. Let's draw the bottom edge of the gun, coming down at an angle. Now I'm going to come down like I did on the right side, down to about here. So coming down right about there. I'm going to come up in an angle, tuck that in underneath the line. Now from this point I'm going to come down with that short line like I did here, and I'm going to curve around. Curving, and I'm going to have to pull this back in behind the knuckles like that. Let's go back up here and draw that same little detail that we have on this side. So because his hand's sort of tucked in behind, you're going to see less of this detail. So from here I'm going to start with the top line, right about here. I'm going to go up in an angle, like I did on this side, curve around, and then come straight down, like so. Let's go ahead and draw that rivet in here. Now from here I'm going to draw that little detail that I have on the bottom. So right here, going across, down at an angle, cap it off with a straight line, and then a rivet. And then along this edge, like I have on this side, I'm going to draw 3 angled lines. Now let's go back up to the top here. Now this gets a little bit tricky because I'm trying to mirror this over and draw exactly what I see on the right side. But the trick is not thinking that you're drawing a gun flipped over. It's just mirroring whatever line you see. So I have a line going up this way. I'm going to draw a line going up this way, right from the tip here, going up like that. Now I'm going to come down in an angle, coming down right about here, right beside the face, and then this line is going to go straight across like that. I'm going to draw a line here just to finish that off. Draw a circle like I have here, and then doing a couple swirly flourishes like that. I'm going to come up from this point, go up in an angle to the tip of the gun right here. Just like that. I'm going to connect this bottom 2 lines, go with a short line on top, angled line, and then just finish that off like that. And then just draw a little thing in behind there. Now that's as much gun as I'm going to draw for this drawing. Let's finish off the hood. So these little curves that I did on the side, I'm going to actually finish these off now. So I'm going to take this line and just extend it behind the guns like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and color in the inside negative area, inside the hood, around the mask. From this point, I want to draw the top of the hood. Now it goes up to like this rounded point, top top of his hood, so it's right about here. So starting up at the top, I'm going to curve the top of the hood. Go to the right side, curving the top. You can see I'm sort of coming down at an angle. I'm going to come down at an angle and just sort of curve it outwards as it gets down, very slightly. Coming out, just curving outwards. Up here on top of this hood ridge, I'm going to draw a little curve just to show the stitching across the front. And then down the middle, I'm going to draw that stitch line that goes straight across like so. Let's go ahead and draw on this arm on the opposite side. So I want to make sure that the volume of this right arm is the same as the one on the left. So I want to make sure I come down to the same height, to the same length. So from here I'm going to look at the hand coming down this way. I'm going to draw a curve going out, then rounding out around the elbow. I'm going to go back to the bottom here and just pull out the curve for the bottom of the form. So you can see that I'm just making sure that I have the same volume, same size on both sides. This arm on this side is pretty simple. I'm just going to start from the bottom and draw a curve just to split this arm up. Now from here, he's got some pretty wide shoulder pads that come out this way. So I'm going to follow the hood line out this way. Over here, I'm going to draw a curve going out. On the right, I'll do the same thing. So right about here. So this is the width of his shoulders. Now these actually come in this way. Coming in on both sides. Let me just close that off. And on the corners here, it looks like to be a reverse curve. It goes around and up. I'm going to take that point there and just tuck that in underneath the gun. Now from here, he's got some straps on the upper the upper arm here. So what I'm going to do an overlap. From this side, draw a curve like this. From this point, I'm going to curve and tuck this in underneath the forearm. So you can see that I'm aiming towards the elbow. From here, I'm just going to round out the bicep area. And then from this point, I'm just going to curve in behind the gun. Let's draw on some straps. So from up here, I'm just going to trace that top line once, twice, tuck that in underneath the forearm. From here, I'm just going to draw a different angle just to show that the straps are sort of misaligned. Here, let's do the same thing. So from the inside, overlapping that shoulder line. From here, I'm going to curve, aiming towards the elbow, the bicep. I'm going to curve and just close that line off there. Let's draw on these straps. So 1, 2, and then from this corner, I'm just going to go in the opposite direction. We're just going to angle that down like that. Now the final part of this drawing, I'm going to draw the cape that comes down, or the cloak that comes down on the side with a little bit of belt detail. So from here, if I imagine the inner part of the shoulder, or the chest, comes down this way, I'm going to draw, starting on the left side, a cloak line that comes down like that. A little wave. And on the right about here, I'm going to draw a cloak line that comes down like that. On the side here, I'm going to draw the width. It comes down, so you can see it sort of tapers down as it gets near the bottom. Now here, I'm going to draw in the waistline. Right on about the same height as the elbows. From left to right, I'm going to draw a curve. From here, I'm going to draw an angled curve for a belt. Starting on the left side, curving down to that point in the waistline. I'm going to draw that twice to make the belt thick. Along here, I'm going to draw an angled line. And then here, I'm going to draw some grommets. Drawing one circle, and then drawing 2 circles. I'm going to draw a smaller circle inside each of these. Now from here, I'm going to draw a little bit of belly detail. Up here, I'm going to come down an angle. On the right side, I'll do the same thing, equal length. I'm going to pull these down behind that belt. Down here, I'm going to just continue this line down like that. Over here, let's draw in a little bit of belt detail. I'm going to draw some ammo casings. I'm going to start by drawing an oval, just right of center. I'm going to draw one more beside it. I'm going to draw this 4 times actually. I can probably fit 4 bullet casings in like that. From the end of this oval, I'm going to draw a straight line down. And then in between each oval, I'm going to pull a straight line of equal length down like this. On the bottoms, to connect these 2 points, I'm going to draw a little curve, just to show some roundness of these bullet casings. Now from here, I'm just going to pull this in behind the cloak. Now there's going to be a belt that comes across, but there's going to be a little box here, a little pouch. So at the top, I'm going to curve. I'm just following this curve here on the waist. Come down, and pull this across behind those bullet casings. From these corners, I'm just going to draw 2 angled lines, equal length. Connect those 2 points to give this a little bit of perspective. From this point, I'm just going to tuck this in behind the cloak. Draw an angled line right about there. I'm going to connect those 2 points with a curve. From this point, I'm going to draw a curve going to the left and then connect that down. Just gives the box a little bit of perspective, a little bit of shape. And that's a very simple version of Reaper from Overwatch. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.